again.
Antoni decides to go on a hike and find something. This is the woods. This is a bear. The woods were empty of all things but Antoni. As he walked through, he gave nothing names, pointed nothing out, described its features. He saw trees. On trees he carved Antoni with sharp stones, deciding he would come back later to collect his scars. His boots crushed things. Antoni thought about thinking about today, tomorrow. It would be a good story to tell to a group. He continued on. Antoni started to get bored naming, so he just shoegazed and planned out the story in his head. He shifted his face to practice expression, waved his hands around to emphasize the good parts. He said the same words 3 times each. A shuffle ahead made him look up. A few feet down the path was a small bear, crossing slowly, with bad posture. Antoni stopped, looking at the thing, and realized it was a practical joke. He laughed. The bear had long legs which moved like a bear, and a big nose that sniffed the air like a bear. But it is not a bear at all, thought Antoni, glancing around to find the culprit. No one was there, only what Antoni had named, and the bear. He began to wonder what was inside. Considering gears, Antoni listened closely, but no whir or clank could be heard. He squinted some more, and realized it must be a person. What a trick! Antoni thought about this for a second. He put his hand to his stomach and pressed, trying to figure out if something was inside him. He couldn't feel anything. As it should be, he said. Antoni stopped. He realized he was smart in something and needed to get home to write it down. What a perfect end to this story, he thought, and ran through the woods quickly, back to his car, to avoid any other endings. The bear was still in their spot, back where Antoni left them. They reached a paw to their stomach and pressed, as they saw Antoni do. They felt something hard and sore. Antoni goes to the bar to share his knowledge. This is a bar. This is a door. This is a car. This is a mic. This is a counter. This is a drink. This is a book. Antoni drove quickly. When he arrived, he opened his trunk and pulled out his best clothes. They were the largest clothes ever, with giant cuffs and so many buttons you couldn't count them all. Antoni tried again. He slipped them on outside, in the parking lot, in the dark. Antoni got rum and coke and sipped it through 2 stirring straws. He was somewhat early for his reading, so he decided to sit at the bar, choosing a seat where he could see the door but was far from it. The drink ended, and Antoni chewed the ice before placing it back down on a napkin on the counter. The bartender asked if he wanted another, and Antoni said no. He pulled his big book out of his backpack and let it thump down. This said it all. The bartender gave him a Coke, no rum, in a very large glass. Soon after, one of Antony's friends came in the door. Unfortunately, it was a friend Antony didn't like too much. They only talked when their other friend was around, and then it was only because Antony was nice. He waved to the friend, but didn't invite them over. The friend got appetizers, and Antony didn't ask to share. He was at the stage before anyone knew it. The microphone was at the almost perfect height, the lights were just about right, and it was only a little bit cold. As it should be, Antony whispered, turning his mouth towards the ground to avoid letting the audience hear. His friend sat on a bar stool facing the stage with a stray light hitting them from behind. Antony couldn't see what the friend thought of him, so he made something up. He coughed into the mic. This seemed like a way to begin. He held his book in a beautiful way, arms slightly stretched, out to the left, low and diagonal. He coughed again because he forgot he had done that before. He grabbed his Coke from the stool beside and took a very large sip. Antony looked down at the page and remembered he didn't know how to read.